Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into a new beauty podcast, A Student of Beauty. Today, I'm sitting down with a dear friend and beauty expert in her own right, even though I don't know if she'd want to admit that. Miss Nikki Croney. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing amazing, Gabby. How are you?
I'm doing good. If y'all don't know who Nikki is, you better start following her new Substack. Nikki is a beauty publicist, and I asked her to be on this podcast because I loved her Instagram stories on all of the brands that are like taking over right now and who are emerging. She's really on the pulse with every brand, not only that's trendy in the celebrity circuit, but also like on a mass market scale, and brands that you can find at like Walmart and Target. And, but then you can also find it at like Nigel's and Namie's in the Valley in LA. And you beauty pros will know what I'm talking about, where those places are. But beyond that, I just have such a good time talking to you every single time I see you.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so happy for you to be here. I guess let's just rapid fire, like, to get a little warmed up. Like,
Okay.
what has been your favorite beauty hack lately?
Ooh.
Like, to save time.
To save time.
Yeah.
My favorite beauty hack to save time, because the thing is, I'm not good at saving time. So, like, hacks to save time.
Because I feel like I am always running late. And so I'm always wanting to hear how other people, like, might be, like, I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like you're more organized than me.
Number one hack to save time is skipping foundation, because that takes a lot of time to get right, and get right in a way that I've observed someone like a Patrick Ta, like, get right. So if you just conceal what you need to conceal, I think that expedites the process. So
what have you been using instead of foundation?
Concealer. Fenty concealer is my go-to, and people are tired, especially the people following me on Instagram. They're tired of hearing me talk about Fenty concealer. But now she has, in addition to the OG concealer, there's the Wear Even concealer, which is like a moisturizing, ideal for under eye concealer.
Got it.
So I feel like I have the full Fenty range now.
Not many of my friends and family know I've been part of a beauty nonprofit, the Beyond Project. Giving back is easy, and being of service with my community in LA is what inspired more vision for my career, empowered me to keep going, and what connected me deeper with everybody around me. Have you always wanted to give back and serve with your community, but didn't know where to start? Me too. The Beyond Project provides beauty and wellness professionals with an outlet to use their talents for good. We're a dynamic coalition of volunteers who apply our beauty and wellness knowledge to charity events that use beauty and wellness services to empower those who need it the most. They create social impact through what we do best. If you're in Seattle, Los Angeles, Chicago, Las Vegas, or San Diego, the Beyond Project has teams in place and communities to serve. You can join teams at thebeyondproject.org/connect. And if you want to donate products, time, or even financial support, you can visit thebeyondproject.org/ASAB Media. I love that. No, that has also been a hack for me, is the concealer. I'm currently on Hourglass right now. I'm at like the bottom of the barrel. I'm actually debating whether I like go get a foundation or a concealer before I leave, or if I actually just buy it when I like go on my next trip. But no, concealer hacks for me too. They're like, it's so clutch, especially in LA.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wish I had a better expedited hack for the people, but that is definitely true to me for sure. Complexion is like my favorite thing.
What has been like your beauty challenge that you recently kind of like overcame?
Ooh, that's another really good one. Beauty challenge I recently overcame. Not being afraid of body care or like really investing in body care. So I don't know what it is. I've been talking about this a lot more like
Mm-hmm.
on social, but I just never thought to exfoliate like my body chemically anyway, in the
Mm-hmm.
same way that I would do my face. And so
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like skirted past a lot of the like AHA and the like exfoliating body serums, but now I've really leaned in and I feel like it's changed like the texture of my skin, like on my legs and elbows. So,
Mm.
I mean, it's like a loose interpretation of a challenge, right?
Yeah, no, that is a challenge because I will tell you one big hurdle that I've always had has been, I can't believe I'm saying this like out loud, like publicly, but like moisturizing after a shower, like I just get lazy and
Mm,
I will do like full body, like exfoliate and like do the, like, I have the Korean mitt in my shower, like scrubbing. I will scrub, but I will skip the moisture afterwards, and then my skin is just extra dry sometimes. And so I'm gonna tell you that that's always been my challenge
oh,
of just like
girl.
just moisturize. I'm
And that is not that is not how I was. If anything, like that was the one thing we had to do. Like everything else could be off, but we had to have Vaseline all over, which is probably not even an effective hydrating lotion,
yeah,
but my mother would smear us up in Vaseline, like sliding all over furniture, but we had to shine and be slick.
slick. Yeah, no, my grandmother used to. I just remember my grandmother and my mom would put baby oil all over me after a
Mhm.
shower, and I would just be slippery and just like really slick. And I don't
Yeah.
know if that growing up is the thing that like kind of put me off to like fully moisturize. But anyway, so I've, as you were saying, the leaning into chemically treating your skin. I've recently started chemically treating my skin too, and using like a retinol all over my body because I need some
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
now. What's been your favorite brands that you've been using in terms of like body treatments?
Ooh, okay. You to the People and topicals. Those are my top two. And Laura Mercier. So that one's kind of a bougie answer, but You to the
For
People
body?
for body. Yes.
Laura Mercier
Laura.
has
Laura
body?
has body. Shout out to the Laura Mercier PR team. But so You to the People, disclosure, they're one of my clients. They have an amazing body collection. It's a cleanser, a scrub, and a body butter. So that is like my go-to, like that cleanser. It's my boyfriend uses the cleanser.
Hmm.
He's like squeezing the bottle. It's not a squeeze bottle, it's a pump top.
Hmm.
So just to show you how much we love it. And then the scrub, it has chemical exfoliants in it. So in
Mm.
addition to being a physical exfoliant, it's just amazing formula, feels amazing, smells amazing.
And it helps to like set your skin up for the actual moisture absorption too.
Yeah,
I think that's what a lot of people don't recognize is that the AHA, BHAs, anything chemically treating on your body is actually going to help further the penetration of any oil or moisturizer that you use afterwards.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so to that point, I like to rotate it with a non-physical exfoliant. So
Hmm.
that's where topicals comes in. They have an amazing exfoliating serum.
Hmm.
So that will go on after the shower, just does the same thing, just without the little like granules.
Hmm.
And then when it gets into moisture, like I said,
Hmm.
I was raised on Vaseline. So glad we can elevate and go somewhere else, different direction. You to the People has the body butter, and then Laura Mercier, my girl. So she has an amazing body oil, which I've been
Ooh.
really into lately, almond coconut, and then she has a matching body cream. So same scent, almond coconut is my jam.
Okay, so almond oil has been my jam. So, with the challenge of me moisturizing, I would do this hack where I would leave a fat bottle of like body lotion at the edge of the shower with a jar of like almond oil like
Yeah.
next to it because a lady, an older lady, I would say she's definitely a grandma, like with all due respect, but she was probably around my grandmother's age. And I was like, she saw me looking with the body moisturizer and I was looking at the oils and she was like, honey, you should get almond oil. And I was like, what does that do? She's like, it has vitamin A in it and it's gonna help your body like not age so quickly. She's like, if I could have started it sooner, I would. And that stuck with me. And I just always have a bottle of almond. So that's incredible that her formulation has almond and coconut.
Yeah, I'm not sure if like what specific oils are in that oil, but the scent is incredible. I love almond and coconut. Anything like gourmand-esque, like anything edible, that's me. I love it.
Oh my gosh. So, oh my gosh. And oh my gosh. I'm like, oh, why am I doing a podcast? Why? And like, why is it also on video now? I'm like, oh my God. I was like driving over here. Sorry. Anyway. Okay. So editing that out too. You're talking about all the Vaseline and all the fun, like memories growing up and being slippery and that's a weird intro, but the childhood memories of, you know, that ritual after a shower is something that will stick with anybody, you know. What other childhood memories do you have around beauty?
So my childhood memories around beauty are not like the average story. Like you talk to a lot of other men and women, just being inclusive. You talk to a lot of people and it all starts with their mom. But my mom never uses makeup, still to this day does not use makeup. She cut all of her hair off when I was in high school. So whatever her hair ritual was prior to that, I don't recall.
Wow.
And then body care, it was Vaseline and oil of Olay for skincare. And so anything that I love about beauty now, I discovered it on my own. And really a lot from moving out and just needing to buy my own products to have in my dorm and then eventually my first apartment. So doing my own research to get there. But other than that, it was once upon a time Proactive. That was my skincare regimen. My mom and dad would buy that for my brother and I. And that was our routine. It's nothing sophisticated. I don't have any early memories of, I was like watching my mother apply her favorite lipstick in the mirror. No. She maybe bought like a kit off of QVC and God bless where that is.
Oh my goodness. So is she so spoiled now with like all the beauty stuff through you?
So she is, but she doesn't appreciate it in the way that a beauty junkie should or would.
Yeah.
She's just like, oh, this is cool. Great. Here. To anyone else? Anyone want this?
She's like, oh, my daughter gives me so much. I'm just going to give them as gifts.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I've tried to get her into makeup now. Like I've taught her like brows or mascara. No. Nope.
I'm going to say I relate to you though, because my mother was kind of the same. Like beauty was always around because I grew up with my mom and her 3 sisters and then my uncle's wife, who's my auntie too, growing up. So I had 4 aunties and my mom, and all of them like had different type of beauty practices. But my mom was always very simple, like kind of like never really wore a lot of makeup, like mascara and a lash curler. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I remember, but other than that, like I think she was like the least glam out of everybody, but then also was the cosmetologist. So she was doing everybody, but wasn't doing herself, which was really interesting. Yeah. So yeah, it was an interesting, but I relate to you with like a mom who isn't like that glamazon that you would think inspired a path into beauty. It was quite the opposite, where it's kind of like a craving of wanting to understand it more because we didn't really have it. It wasn't really fed to us. So that's really interesting. In your discovery, in your own beauty journey, what was like the first aha moment where you're like, oh, I love beauty?
Oh. My first aha moment was probably MAC. MAC is what's like coming to mind for me. Just going into MAC and like playing, and that's probably the first time I had enough discretionary income to go somewhere other than Target to get anything. And also I remember just hearing through the grapevine, media, I'm sure, played a part in it, but I wasn't working yet. I was still like in college. But they were like one of the first brands that had every shade. So I could find something for sure. And it just had that like prestige of being like the brand all the cool girls use or the brand all the artists use.
Yeah.
So I just felt like, okay, well, I'm going to find something that I can use and something great here. And I did like that. I remember MAC NC50, the powder foundation. That was my first foundation complexion product.
Was it liquid? Was it powder?
No, it was like the
powder.
powder.
Oh, the powder. Yeah, the powder. Yeah. It was like NC50. My brain just started like seeing the images of like the racks of like all of the foundations. I started off at MAC, so I totally understand.
Everybody started off at MAC. Like that's such a common story that I tell. Like Patrick Starr started at MAC. Patrick Ta started at MAC. Just kind of crazy how MAC is like, you started at MAC and look at where we are.
Yeah, MAC is really, it was such a cornerstone, I feel like, for makeup artists, because the one thing about MAC, and I'm sure you know this, is that they didn't do like campaigns or like advertising. Their whole stitch was like, the makeup artists are advertising. So you had to wear makeup like every single time you showed up to work, and you had to do like fun looks, and you had to make the charts, and you had to have your hands wet in the paint. It was a true testament to the era of beauty where it really was craft, not clout, including the way that MAC went about promoting their products. The fact that they did not pay for advertising. They didn't have billboards at that time. It was literally by draw and attraction and what people shopping saw wearing, which to me is, how would a brand even survive now? Yeah.
I mean, isn't it crazy to think about? Because that's kind of like the early like influencer content creator model, or like where it's gone now.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of creators, like, you want that relatable, authentic like person. Like there's this creator, I'm forgetting her first name. It'll come to me at some point, but she works at Sephora, and she just is going around and like, this is what I would buy, this is what I wouldn't buy. And I love that. That's who I want to hear from, because you're around it all day. Like the girls getting in PR, like, yes, you're testing it too, but she's actively going to each gondola and trying something that she wasn't incentivized to try, and then saying, this is great.
Yeah. No, and I tell every young artist or anyone who's aspiring to be a makeup artist, or anyone that I meet that is going to beauty school or aesthetic school, I say get a job in beauty. Like, go work at a counter. You want to be a makeup artist? Go work at a counter. Go work at a Sephora. Get your hands wet. Your hands will constantly be covered in foundations and lipsticks and concealer and brow pencils and body lotions, and you're gonna smell like 100 perfumes at the same time. But at the end of the day, you cannot beat the product knowledge that you have when you're working like 8, 10, 12-hour shifts, like at a counter, and working with multiple faces, multiple personalities, and multiple skin textures, and having to find what suits everybody else. It's the learning how to manipulate product and make things unique to each face you work with. That education is so underrated, I feel like, working at a counter.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't know anything about that, because my journey to beauty was like so like winding. It was not, I didn't even think to do something like that.
No. But okay, so how did you find yourself in like through MAC, and you're like, oh, okay, like I love this? What kind of opened up for you after that, and how did you find yourself in like the beauty PR space?
So the Mac journey, like the span of time between me discovering Mac and trying it for the first time and me getting a job in beauty is almost like a decade between the two. It's crazy.
Wow.
So I went to school for PR and I wanted to be a publicist, knew that, but I thought I wanted to be a celebrity publicist, an entertainment publicist. So everything that I did from that point was with entertainment in mind. My first internship ever was at Hot 97, which if you've ever spent time in New York or you're from New York, you know exactly what that station's all about. Summer Jam had to be there. And just kept going with that and just followed the breadcrumbs of entertainment until I got into my entry level job and just was struggling. Like, was not making enough money and just burnt out, tired, event after event after event. And I'm like, I just started. Like, how does it feel like this? And I kept one of my good friends from a previous internship. She had always wanted to be in beauty. She knew she did basically what I did in entertainment. She did that in beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, girl, we are the same age and like look at me, look at you. And she meant that in a nice way, but
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. This is a lot. So she's like, come work with me. I can get you a job at my agency and you would have to do beauty. We don't have any entertainment here, but you would be great at it. It's just PR, but take it to a different industry. And I followed her advice. I took the job and I
Mm-hmm.
have not looked back. That was maybe 7 years ago.
Love it.
Yeah.
Do you love it?
I love it. Like I'm happy. The not looking back is a good thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm happy in beauty. I feel like I've found my stride. Like I love my clients. I love what I do and the events, of course, the products,
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps leading me to new things. So
I
love that.
What has been the most rewarding aspect of your beauty journey? Whether it's personal, into career, however you want to answer that.
So I think really the community it's brought, because that applies both personally and professionally.
Mm-hmm.
So even sitting here with you, that is a product of the connections from beauty. So wouldn't have that otherwise.
Yeah.
But from a professional lens, like when I think of all the founders I've had a chance to speak to and be a part of their journey and be a part of telling their story, like that means a lot to me, that I'm trusted with that, or I get to help workshop that. And then on the personal side, I think that's kind of what led me to even be curious enough to do polls on my personal Instagram. And then like the findings or like the things spinning out of it then led me to start a Substack. So it's just, and more people keep popping up into my life, like coming from those things. So yeah. I love it.
To my beauty insiders, I've found pride in staying on top of beauty trends and emerging brands, and I'm always willing to bet money on what the next big break in the industry is going to be. Well, our friends at 213 Deli do too, so much so that they're the first of their kind in the US to launch text shopping. Yes, text shopping. Curious? I sure was. 213 is a text-to-buy service. You sign up on their site, and once a week, every Thursday at 12 Pacific, they text you the product of the week, and you reply if you want to buy. You can sign up for free and use code GABBI, GABBI, to try them out and get inside scoop on the brands you shouldn't be living without. Sign up at 213deli.com. It's so fun. If you haven't found Nikki on TikTok or on Instagram yet, I highly encourage it. And I'm so excited to see where your Substack is going to take you, because I respect the work that you do and the integrity that's behind it. I remember the first time I met you, you just so sincerely were like, I'm in LA. I'm new to LA. And also you're like, I just really want to help minority owned beauty brands find their place
Yeah.
in the marketplace. And that, like, there is such a sincerity in the tone when you're conveying that I was just like, she's like the real deal. Because, I was at that point was kind of navigating the next step, kind of like, am I going to, go full throttle with this like skincare practice? Am I going to like try to resuscitate this like dead end beauty brand that I started and bootstrapped that got kiboshed because of the pandemic? Like, what's my next step? Obviously, we're sitting here now, and this is the next step that eventually it evolved into. That's another story. But beyond that, I think the thing about, or the most impactful moment in the conversation that I had was recognizing like there aren't a lot of people in the industry that have that sincere drive and desire to promote like marginalized voices, because there's a lot of extremes. There's a lot of high
Yeah.
low, but there is that sweet spot, like kind of middle ground, not only with product, but with founders and with artists and with like the consumer, that
Mhm.
is just never tapped into, that I so blatantly saw working in LA. Um, and also just culturally just being a part of that, that I was like, she gets it. I was like, Nikki, and there's not a lot of people who get it.
Yeah.
And especially from like, from the publicity side, you get to work with pop culture's elite right now. I won't say who, just to keep it, straightforward about you. But like, you get to work with the creme de la creme and with a lot of really cool emerging brands. Like, what do you kind of see when it comes to that, like, that kind of like middle, like neither high, neither low, just kind of like in that, like, kind of center perspective, from artistry to brands to even like some influencers who want to like break through into the next level?
Wow.
Sorry, I like really set that one up.
No, that's an amazing question. I mean, as a Black woman, like you don't have the luxury of looking at things without that filter, right?
Yeah.
And like I feel like that echoes across like all people of color that I've interacted with. So I think when I look at like the beauty landscape, it's through those eyes. And I do see where like strides are being made to just include different voices, like not just about race, but like gender identity and ethnicity,
Hmm.
and even things like economic status. Like it used to be like you had to have a certain like level of success in
Hmm.
order to afford like to spend discretionary money on beauty.
Yeah.
That's changed, and thankfully it's changed.
Hmm.
So you can walk into Walmart and Target the same way you can walk into Sephora
Hmm.
or even Neiman Marcus or some of
Hmm.
the higher end retailers. And I think with that, it creates a lot more space for other brands and founders and stories. I love a good story for
Hmm.
all of those things to exist, and for just innovation to come, and like people just wanting to dip their toe into the beauty industry.
Yeah. It's like so much more accessible, and like even tonality. And um I don't know if I shared this with you, but like traveling, especially doing research in Asia this
Yeah.
last year, like skincare is the skin game in Asia. I like everybody is just like a, it's like a bow down to like the way that they formulate out there.
Mm-hmm.
Also because I think not a lot of people realize that like when you're treating like Asian skin, right, as an Asian American, but also Southeast Asian American. I'm Filipino American. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, to be specific, like I'm kind of like the minority of a minority, and it like all the things that kind of encompass there. But not to go too off topic, like when it comes to Asian skin and like the delicateness and the tonality, like on the Fitzpatrick scale, right? For all the skin junkies out there, Fitzpatrick scale, and for those who don't know, is like the measure of how like skin reacts to different types of like sun exposure to products, to acids, etc. It's like a sensitivity scale
Yeah.
on like how to treat skin. And so Asian skin and black skin were like the most delicate on the Fitzpatrick scale.
Yeah, I learned
And
that recently too.
yeah, like the most reactive, the most sensitive. So when you have labs, when you have brands that are formulating for the minorities, you actually could treat everybody. So it's kind of like there's such a plus on being able to like speak to like this demographic, to like all the people who typically weren't really catered to.
You know who does a really great job, or I think I heard them speak about this exact topic?
Mm-hmm.
Alameda, who is the founder of Topicals.
Mm.
So she is just a genius, and I
Mm-hmm.
love like all of her products, the eye patches, the
Mm-hmm.
serum I talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying that when she formulates products, it's that same thinking. Like when you solve a problem for a minority, you end up solving a problem for a greater majority because of things like the Fitzpatrick scale and like the nuances in
Mm-hmm.
darker skin and
Mm-hmm.
melanated skin. Like you wish more people would think that way across the board,
Yeah.
especially a lot of those brands that have the resources to kind of do more. But
Yeah. I mean, now I think it's starting to, but you know, as the old saying goes, like the proof is in the pudding. It's like at the end of the day, you're really going to see everything, you know, like kind of come into fruition when it comes to like the work will show itself, and work like the founder of Topicals, like speaking up
mhm.
and talking about it, addressing it. Like people deep diving and being like, why is K beauty dominating skin? Like, why are they so good? And it's like, because you understand that, like, what the founder of Topicals is doing. Like, if you solve a problem for the most sensitive skin, you're going to solve it for everybody else too, because it's about protecting skin barrier and creating, you know, solutions to help rebuild the skin barrier if you're doing extreme like acid treatments and using a lot of products that might be harder. Like it's all about balance.
Right.
Yeah. It's it's been like such a journey for myself. Like I want to ask you, what has been like a beauty like mishap that happened to you when like mixing products or just trying all the things? Like did you have a moment where you just like completely like flared and like treated it wrong, or like had to kind of trial and error?
I've had a few, some that I did to myself and
Hmm.
others that were done to me by accident. So, namely, the one that comes to mind first is relaxers. Like, I relaxed my hair, and credit to my mom, she made me wait
Mm.
until I was 18
Mm.
to relax my hair. Before that, I was just straightening it with a pressing comb or a
Hmm.
flat iron. And after a while, like it was all good at first. I was enjoying my like straight, like can't tell me nothing hair.
Hmm.
But after a while, like I got my first like chemical burn from a relaxer and like
Mm.
had like this giant like scab on my scalp. And I just remember like just touching it every once in a while to just like confirm like, oh, that's there, and it's from something that I'm doing to look beautiful.
Mm.
And it's not not the greatest feeling
Mm.
because there's part of you that's like, okay, like I recognize that that is damaging to my scalp, and I like put myself through that,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna go back and do it again because I want the straight hair again.
Mm.
And so there's that, and then some like lighter hearted ones, I guess. Um
That'd be kind of traumatizing though.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not fun.
Did
It's
you
not
scar,
fun.
or did you like, how did you treat that?
I mean, you kind of have to leave it alone. Like it you want it to scab over. So it's like a lot of vitamin E and just ointments
Hmm.
to make sure that it's like it's healing, but your hair is also there. So it's like
Hiding
manipulating
it.
it, not even hiding it, because it thankfully it wasn't a situation where patches of hair were lost. It's just like the scalp at that point is just like so raw and damaged that the only way to help it is it needs to scab over, and then scab falls off. Potentially some of the hair like thins out in that spot, and then you grow it back, and the process starts all over. So best advice is kind of leaving it alone. And also don't, if you're still relaxing, because I know relaxing is also just a sensitive topic in the textured hair community in general, but being more mindful of like pain, the pain is not beauty in that case, or beauty isn't pain in that case. Like you're just sitting through and like, okay, the longer I keep it on, like the straighter it's gonna be, but it doesn't need to be that straight. Like you can just flat iron it to get it to where you want to be without sacrificing the integrity of your scalp.
Totally. No, and that was something that I learned going to school, like when I went to beauty school. All of our instructors, and then even when I got out into the real world, the one thing that they said, they were like, you shouldn't be making your client uncomfortable. Like it should, like you could feel a little tingle, but if it is burning, you are doing damage to their scalp. And that was the biggest disclaimer on all of it. All of the like chemical procedures was like, do not like do damage to their scalp. And it's interesting like how like the shift in the narrative, even like when we were going to, or when I was going to beauty school, you know, like it was kind of that shift of like beauty does not have to be pain. If it's painful, you're actually doing damage to your client. And it's crazy how that realization didn't like come into play, and how it's still just beginning to be this like more like thoughtful process when it comes to beauty and wellness.
Yeah.
And I think I like what you said about you just leave it alone. Like you just leave it alone and let your body heal. And just, you know, allow for just the true healing to really take place. I know you said you didn't have like a fun one, but like
thinking of it now,
you got one?
Sunburn. Like
okay.
Terrible sunburn.
Okay.
And that one, I mean, this is silly, but I was in the Bahamas for work, going to the Bahamas, and I forgot to pack sunscreen, and I was just like, I'll be fine. I'm Black. I don't like, I'll get by with just like whatever moisturizer I'm using. Like hopefully there's some kind of SPF property in it. No, terrible sunburn. I was like my back was like peeling for weeks when I got back. And it just, again, another situation, you gotta kind of leave it alone, let it take its course of this terrible burn. But
you didn't do anything after the burn?
I think it was similar, just vitamin E oil.
Vitamin E oil, yeah.
Just other than that, like not trying to peel the scabs to like, or the skin to get it off faster, just letting it do its thing.
Yeah, I burn all the time too. It's bad. And I used to also be like, oh no, it's okay. I don't need it. I used to lay out with like Johnson and Johnson's baby oil head to toe because my mom told me, because I'm a fair skinned Filipina girl and I'm full Filipina, and I was teased for not being brown enough.
Wow.
And it made me really insecure. And I was like one of the fairest like cousins, and everybody would always be like, why are you so white? Why do you sound like a white girl? Why are you this? Like, you're not Filipino. It was so mean. Yeah. But like, I would literally lay out as a teenager. My mom would be like, you want a good tan? Johnson and Johnson's baby oil. And so I would go and I'd fry.
Parents, man. The advice was
I would fry, and yeah, it wasn't until I moved to LA that people were like freaking out over you know, sun damage, because growing up in the Bay Area, we don't get that much sun, you know, and if you have sunburn, it's fine, but I'm like pale like majority of the year, you know. But no, yeah, in LA it's a whole nother game. And I found a solution I found was not only like vitamin E is incredible, but like a lot of aloe. And I now will buy Maui Babes After Sun lotion.
Ooh.
That and I got burnt in the Philippines because I forgot sunscreen when we went on a boat day, and I was fried.
Oh my gosh,
I
poor
was fried.
Gabby.
I was fried. And the ladies at the front desk saw me look like a lobster coming back in, and they handed
Ouch.
me a bottle of coconut oil. And so I put coconut oil and I cut it with Maui Babe. Girl, that was like the best hack I think I've ever had. Was like straight from the like Maui Babe. Have you tried it?
No.
Okay, so it's out of Hawaii,
Mm-hmm.
and it's this blend. They have a tanning like concoction. It's made on the island. It's literally it'll bronze you while you're bronzing,
Uh-huh.
and it gives you like a nice little tint, and you just get the most beautiful glowy sun-kissed tan when you use the self tanner, and then there's no SPF in it. Is back to the oils. But then when you put like the after sun on top, I've never had my skin heal quicker than using Maui Babe.
Wow. And do you put it in the fridge or is
I
it?
did not put Maui Babe in the fridge. I have put aloe gels in the fridge,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a game changer.
That's my favorite because I burned my forehead in LA. Like that was probably my first like battle with the LA sun moving
Mm-hmm.
from New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I used another client plug, but I used a Coco Kind chlorophyll serum and ceramide barrier serum, and I put them in the fridge, and then I cocktailed them on my forehead. Heaven, heaven, heaven. And like I know that the beauty fridge was like a trend of
Yeah.
like the past, but I believe in putting so many things in the fridge. Like under eye patches, they have to come from the fridge.
Yes.
I just stock them like groceries in the drawer. You'll see like vegetables, eye masks.
I love it.
It's serums, like depending on if they're for like after sun kinds of things or like the moments where my skin is a little bit more agitated, fridge for sure.
Have you heard about these epic New York City sample sales where you can score designer deals for up to 80% off? Now the sample sale is coming to you. Introducing In the Know Sample Sale online. This iconic New York City sample sale store is bringing you exclusive designer deals and steals that you can shop from anywhere. Visit www.shopintheknow.com to learn more. Did you know that in Korea, families have a designated refrigerator for skincare?
No, but this is why I learn something new from you every day. Every time you post a TikTok about your travels, I'm like, okay, noted, noted,
Thank you.
noted.
Yeah, no, but like really, like skincare fridges, they're not passe. They are definitely a thing. So just keep doing it. Keep doing.
Okay.
I was
All right.
like, make it the thing. And honestly, I would even, I encourage like even getting a mini fridge for product. Okay, so to encourage you on this, like you can get one for like 50, 60, $70, like
I'm
like an
sure.
actual like drink, like the drink
Yeah.
like refrigerators. I had one. We had it in the green room when I was working on a TV show. And in the green room, it was my makeup station and then the fridge that would keep the drinks for, the guests that, or not the guests, but like for my actress that would come in, we would put drinks in there. We have waters every day. But it started to turn into a beauty fridge because I was working with green beauty products and I was finding that lipsticks were molding faster than the
Whoa.
normal, like the more mainstream lipsticks. Foundations were turning. Like any of the like compactable, refillable cream blushes would start like turning quicker. The expiration date on all of my green beauty products, if liquid or any type of like, yeah, liquid, lipsticks and then cream blushes, those products turned the quickest. That entire fridge ended up becoming like a green beauty fridge. And I
Wow.
highly recommend everybody who's into the green beauty trend and makeup artists to put that all in the fridge because there was one summer I came back. we had a hiatus and I was cleaning out the beauty drawers and I was like testing to see if some of the green beauty lipsticks were, able to stay.
Right.
Girl,
They all
turned. No, there was actual like mold on it.
Oh no.
Like they actually grew mold spores. So it's like if you are a makeup artist, if you are a green beauty enthusiast, bottom line, if you have had green beauty products in your kit or on your beauty vanity for longer than 3 months, I highly recommend you throw them away. Just throw them away. Like it's not even worth it because it's spoiled. It's turned anyway. So I encourage the fridge.
The more you know.
Yeah, just not passe. But anyway, moving on to like more of the things that are on trend. What has been some like new discoveries that you found in the marketplace? Because you get to play with a lot of product.
I do get to play with a lot of products. So 2 things. New discoveries that I've found at work. Lots of amazing skincare. So obviously coming into the beauty game essentially like later in life, both in personal life and professional life, a lot of my experience was driven by makeup, skincare. Like now I'm just playing catch up with a lot of people who were like diehard skincare aficionados. But Biased in beauty projects extreme cream is my favorite thing that I've found so far. So it's like a rich moisturizer and there's all of these lifting peptides and just a lot of science in it.
Yeah.
And it just like snatches your face, snatches your jaw. And that's generally like a big trend that is happening right now. Everyone is focused on just neck, jaw, décolleté lifting and snatching without surgery. So like what are the different ingredients that can kind of provide those effects and those long-term benefits? Huge upcoming trend. And then on the personal side, like via polls, like some discoveries are just the things people are digging up to kind of use in ways I didn't think of. Like I had a follower tell me that she uses Just for Men on her brows. And that stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, huh. We're using Just for Men on our brows. Like there aren't enough products out here to fill that need. It's just easier to use Just for Men.
Yeah.
So it kind of took me out of my beauty bubble for a second to just think like, whereas I can like think of a like brand solution or product launch. This came out then, like all of these like floating numbers, like those memes. Like not everybody thinks like that. There's like nurses and teachers and just your regular everyday sister, friend, brother, cousin who is not thinking like that. And they're like, okay, what can I find right now? Because my brows, I want them to be a little darker. Just for Men.
That's so, on that thread and TikTok, I was actually scrolling the other night and found a dermatologist recommending Rogaine for eyebrows. She was like, if you've, plucked too much and you can't grow it back, Rogaine on your brows. And I was like, what? Like a dermatologist.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
And now they make Rogaine specifically for facial hair.
That's so crazy. I wonder if that would work for like guys who feel like they're patchy.
Yes.
Why?
And men are so insecure about that. So
I know.
I think, and I don't know, that would be an interesting trend if someone were to figure out some of these like products that people are a little bit like shyer to buy but need and want. How do you get those just, I don't know, discreetly delivered in the same way they deliver like the Hims vitamins and things like that? Like also deliver beard serum and mustache
or make it
serum.
like chic, right?
Yeah, like everything has like millennial, like cool, sleek branding, like brand like, all right, you can fill in your beard or your hairline.
I feel like that's like a secret boyfriend to girlfriend like ask that typically might happen, right? Like I feel like a lot of guys just turn to their girl or to their partner, if they are like, if they're struggling with it, like, you know, for the advice. But yeah, no,
Yes and no.
Yeah. Or they just don't.
Yeah.
Have you seen like an upswing in men's products lately?
For sure.
Yeah.
Because I think men's beauty and grooming is going through a lot of the same trends that women's beauty and grooming go through, just maybe on like a tape delay.
Yeah.
So like celebrity beauty, now like every athlete, actor, musician has a beauty brand or is launching a beauty brand. Yeah. It's crazy. So I think and there's demand.
Yeah.
Like men want this stuff. Like going back to my polls again, like a lot of people think it's just women taking them. There's men in there that are answering and answering consistently, demanding topics even.
I will say the guys, when it comes to polls and when it comes to beauty polls, they show up and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seriously. It's so cool too to see the intrigue that comes from like a guy's perspective when it comes to taking care of themselves. But anyway, what has been some of your favorite, like, on the topic of we'll just go with this like guys trend, like what's been some of your favorite trends you've seen in male grooming?
I think in men's grooming, just their willingness to step into some of those more traditional feminine beauty practices. So I'm seeing a lot more guy concealer or men concealer for men. They have a lot of the same challenges or complaints that women do, like dark under eyes or just crazy blemishes, and they need a concealer to conceal those things. So maybe not as far as like a full-on beauty line for that, but I've seen a lot more of those things messaged. Also lip balm, like ASAP Rocky, like for Fenty with the, I forget what the lip balm is called, but it had, I don't know if you saw this on TikTok, but all these men running out like they've never had a chapstick before.
Oh my God.
They're like, oh, ASAP Rocky used it, so I need to get it. Or I'm going to go to Sephora and I'm going to get the lip balm. I'm like, okay, Aquifer was there for you all that time. But it's cool to see because they also have discretionary funds that they want to spend on things that are not the norm sometimes.
Totally. And they want to learn. I feel like they, and like what you said, there's a lot of like, I don't want to say like shame in asking, but my dad had no shame because he grew up with acne. And I remember when I was like working on the beauty brand, he was like, Gab, I have one request from you. And he's like, I know you're doing lipstick right now. And I was like, yes. And he was like, I want a cover stick for me, like a guy's cover stick. Yeah. He was like, that was a thing. And like my dad sometimes will still get like a random pimple on his nose. And like just the last couple weeks, we're going to like an event, and he saw me doing my makeup in the car because he was driving, and he was like, hey Gab, can you like cover my nose just like right here? And I was like, okay. So my dad like never had shame in using a cover stick. He was saying that there was like, I want to say maybe Clearasil, like back in the 70s was when he was like a Clearasil cover stick or something like that, where it was like a medicated shtick, but it wasn't like, it was obvious. It wasn't like a
like discreet.
It wasn't discreet. It was like I'm covering, Yeah. Anyway. But in terms of celebrity brands, Beyonce just launched her hair care line. I know. Okay, so I want your honest thoughts on the packaging. I love it. I understand it. But what's your thoughts on the packaging?
So I actually had the experience I'm not sure when people are going to listen to this, but I actually had the experience to touch it and see it and feel it. And it's very luxe. I like that she did that. Just something else other than the like smooth bottle. And I think for anything in shower, that experience is underrated. Like just when you're like blindly feeling around the shower looking for something, like you you've stumbled on your sacred shampoo because it has like that stone texture feel to the bottle.
That's incredible.
So that was really cool. I don't know if that was the intention, but love that. And then just the different vessels for each thing. Like, I'm curious to see how that like shaking vessel situation works out with the protein ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's really innovative. And I haven't seen another brand do that. Of course, there's plenty of shampoo and conditioner and mask brands out there, but that particular SKU, I'm very eager to see how that does.
I'm actually really excited because Beyonce does everything with a level of extreme excellence that I didn't even know that the bottling had that stone texture to it. That is so innovative for no more slip in the shower. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's actual grip.
Yeah.
That's I
Like,
why
I
like
wouldn't put it past her that she did think of that or like she did that intentionally. But
to be like, so there's no more like dropping it in the shower. Oh my goodness. That is, I love it. Like, superficially looking at the brand, one of the things that I wanted to ask you was like how you thought it kind of compared to Kim Kardashian's like skincare launches in the packaging, because it kind of all has that same very like, more like the Grecian rustic sacred, like more like geometric shapes to it. And so I
mhm.
just wanted to see what your thoughts were.
I think that like architecture style is
Mm-hmm.
very popular. And I don't know, like it's reflected in like Kim's home, so I feel like that feels authentic to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the similarities. Not sure. I don't know. I don't think I know enough on Sacred right now to know like what the inspiration
Mm-hmm.
was to make the packaging look the way it does or
Mm-hmm.
like the brand feel the way it does, but I'm curious and I'm hopeful that this means that Beyonce will talk to us more.
Please.
Beyonce, talk to us more.
Especially when it comes to beauty, like putting out such a beautiful brand. You could see the intentionality in it, just doing one pass and
hmm
like looking at it. Like, I've just been looking at it like online, but ugh, I can't wait to actually get my hands on it.
Yeah, it's like I'm excited to actually try them in my hair. So I got an advance like sneak peek at the actual products, but like my order is on the way. So once I have it, I will probably post something on Instagram to confirm that
So
it's
excited.
in testing.
I love it. I love it. Oh, I can't wait for that report back.
Good
So, in terms of sacredness, or like a sacred ritual, right?
segue.
Yeah, like, and I try, girl. I've been trying. Yeah, that I was like, I think a year of the docu interviews has kind of helped this for sure. But on the note of like a sacred ritual, what has been the most sacred experience to you when it comes to beauty and wellness that like you cannot live without now?
When I think of sacredness, I think of sitting down at my vanity and doing my makeup. So my vanity is actually a crate and barrel desk. I multi-purpose it. It's like my home office and my makeup vanity.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just something about like when I get out my like, makeup kit, which is now in like a little kit, and I put it down the table. Sometimes I'll like pour myself a glass of wine if it's like I'm getting ready to go to an evening thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like luxuriating in doing my makeup and just being
Mm,
proud of how far I've come
yeah.
with even knowing what to do. Like once upon a time, I wasn't wearing makeup to go out to like parties that I look back and I'm like, whoa, there's nothing on your brows. Like you were just moisturizer and out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, okay, well, how do I still make sure my skin looks like skin? How do I make sure that like
Mm,
if I'm putting on a fake lash, like it's not lifting and just the technique in that. All of that is a ritual
mm,
and it just feels very grounding.
mm.
So,
to have that moment for yourself too.
Yeah.
It's like a reminder. And makeup is such like an immediate result to just make you feel better. There are some days where I like can't function if I haven't done something to my face.
Yep.
Like I can't even like clean the house.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that hard because Zoom culture,
Mm-hmm.
I know there's been plenty of conversations about this, but Zoom culture has made me so self-conscious. Like I look at myself in a screen all day.
Yeah.
So it's like all of these little things that I maybe didn't notice as fiercely before.
Mm-hmm.
They're just right there on your screen. And
Yep.
you wake up and get on the computer. Hi. Oh, no makeup. Ooh, I'm looking a little rough.
Like, oh, I do a Zoom test. This is secret. It's out. This is secret. I'll do a Zoom test where I'm literally like, I'll start a new meeting before I like even jump onto the Zoom just to like camera check my face.
Hack, you don't need to do that. You can go to settings and then there's like the video settings. So like the same place you would go to like adjust for low lighting and like adjust your settings.
What?
It shows you like the camera view of yourself.
Oh my God.
You can flip it too if you have like weird things like I don't like to be reversed on camera.
Yeah.
So then you can flip it so that you're seeing the same view someone else is seeing.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. So go there next time. Don't start a whole new Zoom because then you can also change the settings to what you want them to be.
Oh my God. I don't.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Thank you, Nikki. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I know I want to keep going, but I know we're running out of time. But I just kind of want to do like a quick, like kind of fire off some of your thoughts on upcoming beauty trends. So in terms of like the marketplace and what is being, I guess, like demanded by the audience of, TikTokers and like some of the like celebrity artists out there. What trend is becoming the loudest right now that you're seeing?
I think that varies by category. So it's skincare.
Go for it.
I think the demand is for more results and efficacy and clinical driven product, but not necessarily like in a boring, stuffy way. I would say in makeup, it's just going back to more fun. So, I mean, efficacy throughout all the different categories. People just want their things that they're spending money on to work. But skincare, clinicals, and just making sure that there's science backing to what you're putting on your face. Makeup, just fun, color, lots of pigment, experimentation. Hair care is interesting because I think there's a lot of like white space in hair care and like what's happening. And it like the different hair types, but across the board, I think the majority are struggling with damage, whether it's color damage or just hairs falling out due to stress or your edges are not there anymore where they used to be. So putting it back. So lots of like growth and repair.
What is your hope for like each category in terms of like accelerating like the actual like commitment to what you're seeing? Or would you hope that it's turning a corner and focusing on something else? Like, do you agree with the trends or are you kind of opposed to some that are coming out?
No, I think those trends, like, they're all pretty neutral, not necessarily damaging. I think what I would want to see is just more space at the table for a like inclusive group of people doing those things or bringing those things to life. Like they don't all need to be created by the same lab coat individual that we can probably all picture. Like I'd love to see more women of color, more men of color even, just bringing these ideas to the forefront and just different identities, different stories to be told around why these different trends matter to this individual and by proxy their community and their group.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're able to share those stories on your new Substack. I'm so excited to see where that's going to take you, and I can't wait to hear the report on the sacred hair. Did you get the whole set?
So, long story short, I just got to like sneak peek it. It's not
Okay.
mine.
Got it.
So I have
Okay.
to wait for mine to come to
Got
do it.
it.
But it'll be on my list for sure.
And the full set? Some of it.
I didn't like the price point be the price point was great, but the way that I approach my testing, it's like test a little first, and then we can expand and get the
smart. You're smart. Well, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that report on how I have high hopes for that brand. I really want to see it like kind of corner like the hair market and actually turn into something that's not just like your typical celebrity brand, but one that is actually thoughtful, well produced, and result driven too, because I have a feeling it's going to, and I have a feeling it's going to surprise a lot of people. And so I'm excited for that. I'm cheering that brand on for sure, if you can't tell. But beyond that, I guess I'd love to kind of ask you this one last question and answer it how you will. What has beauty taught you?
Ooh. Beauty has taught me the power of connection, like bringing it full circle back to some of my earlier points, but it's taught me that people matter in your life and the people around you, and just hearing the different rituals that they have and kind of taking away what you will from that and using it to guide your own journey, but then also giving back and sharing. Like it's a community. You're taking as much as you're giving, we hope. And I think that is one of my biggest takeaways, because it's guided me through my entire experience in beauty.
I love that answer. I feel like beauty teaches everybody something so different, but at the end of the day, it's the one thing that we all are so intertwined with. And so connection and community, like that's a big one.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts on beauty, or any last shameless plugs for X, Y, or Z, like some brands that you love? I know you love topicals. Laura Mercier
body. Love it. Sacred, we're excited. I'm excited for like there's a lot of whispers on like new celebrity brands coming out. I know people are exhausted by them, but I'm curious, like whenever we get around to like answering all like the secret Fenty like trademarks that she's filed, I want to see what else comes out of that conglomerate. SZA, like I saw like a little sneak peek that she was wearing all of these products down to the lip liner, and the lip liner looked amazing. So I'm like, what is this lip liner? I want to know. And then just more of like my existing favorites. Fenty again. Can't say it enough how much I love Fenty. But then my own clients, like again, I've been very privileged to tell their stories, and I love all of them. So shout out to Briogeo, shout out to Coco Kind, shout out to Halle Hair, In Beauty Project, NARS, Patrick Ta, and You to the People.
Which all of those brands I love too. Like my whole kit right now is Patrick Ta, fully obsessed. And I have been traveling with Briogeo, and that's been saving my scalp from like all the different water systems.
Yeah.
Like when I get flaky and stressed out, I've been using the scalp treatment. Youth to the People have been loving that too. But yeah, all the brands that you just, oh my God. Okay, also, pause. Coco Kind. I love Coco Kind. so much. Like the barrier repair serum, the barrier
That's my
repair,
favorite.
that
That's my
balm,
favorite.
that balm. It that is my jet lag hack to make me look pulled together, like I'm coming snatched, is putting that balm all over my face.
I didn't
Like,
even think to do that.
oh my gosh. And that balm will help. I don't know. It just helps me, like, because I'm so dehydrated when I get off of like a 12-hour flight. And I did it the last trip to Japan. I'm about to go again. But those 12-hour flights just dehydrate me. And my skin I just look haggard every time I get off a flight until I started using the cocoa kind, that barrier repair balm. And I slathered it all on my face. It kind of looked like I just walked out of a sauna. But I'm gonna tell you, like, once it set in, I was like, oh, I'm back. Life is back. So everybody needs to try Cocoa Kind, and all the brands that you just listed. But Nikki, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much for having me,
Oh,
Gabby. This was really fun.
I'm glad. It's a pleasure and honor to have you. Truly, um, all of your thoughts and your takes on beauty are so sincere and so authentic, and that's why I asked you to come on and have a conversation. I'm so thankful. And I just want you guys to know that Nikki is the real deal. Like, she really does support. She shows up, she tests products, and she really wants to provide space for people who like have a story to share. And so I'm thankful that this is your turn to share your story.
Wow. Wow. I love that. It's a great way to take us home, Gabby.
Well, I hope that there's more of this to come for you. You are a like force in the beauty industry, and I hope you recognize that. I see it. And I'm excited to see where all of this takes you. So thank you for spending time and for teaching everybody else who's chiming in something new about beauty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.